Welcome to Tech Hub Live. I'm Steve, and today I have my colleague Jeff as a special guest.
Hey guys, hey Steve, I'm Jeff Brown. I'm a technical specialist in manufacturing. My background is aerospace engineering, and I've been in technical software sales for about 10 years.
That's incredible. That's awesome. Well, we've got a special edition. We've actually got a remote edition that we haven't done before. And this every spring, Autodesk has this habit of just releasing new product with new functionality. And there's been a new thing that came out that really helps blur the line between manufacturing and architecture.
Yeah, what's really cool is that Inventor can now open Revit models. Now, if anybody out there watching this is thinking, dude, I've been doing that for the last so many years. Yeah, but it's really different this time. What we're talking about now is a parametric link to the Revit model. And that's what we're going to show in a little bit.
So can you explain to someone who I have Revit in Inventor installed. I open Revit every day. Inventor, it scares me. What does that really mean?
Yeah, so Inventor, for anybody out here listening that's not maybe a mechanical CAD person, Inventor is Autodesk's mechanical parametric CAD program. Think of it just as the way that you would design manufactured parts. Anything from as simple as the computer mouse you're using now all the way to an engine of a car or even a jetliner. Everything in between as well. So where it kind of differs is while Revit is an architecture-specific program with architecture-specific tools, Inventor is made with specific tools for manufacturing products. And because of that, there's unique skill sets involved in each one of them. But if you really think about how a lot of things work, we look at the lamps, we look at light fixtures, we look at plumbing. Any kind of thing that goes into your house is often manufactured using Inventor. So it's really important, if you kind of think about it, Steve, that we're able to get Revit data into Inventor so that I can design this light fixture or this door or this balcony to fit onto the building.
That's pretty awesome. And one of the things that we talk a lot about on the AEC space or the architectural engineering construction space is having that connection of data. And BIM360 Design is the way that we're now connecting our Revit designers, our civil 3D designers, and our plant 3D designers. One of the interesting things about how you and I can work, I mean, I'm based here in Denver. I believe you're outside of Los Angeles, correct?
Yeah, sunny, or at least today, rainy Southern California.
Blue skies. Not today, but so being able to share that information, for me, being able to open an Inventor model is difficult and time consuming, but I know that Inventor can export out to a Navisworks, which really makes it easy for someone like myself on the virtual design construction side. But for yourself, you don't have Revit installed. I don't know if you've ever used it, but now we can actually share that information via BIM360. And we'll get into that in a second, but I think we should start and let's look at how I would actually provide a deliverable to you. I mean, what does it look like and how I can say, I have this area that I want to have designed. How do I get this over to you?
Well, I think what's so interesting about this is, like you said, I don't know anything about Revit. I'm an architect. I've maybe used the tool once or twice, so I don't even understand how to open a file, much less navigate around things that people take for granted, like, let's rotate the model. I don't know how to do that. Right. So being able to get the model in a simplified manner from an architect is really critical. You have to make it dummy proof for somebody like me that doesn't know what they're doing. So if you could show me a cool way on how you can get that model, I would certainly, and as well as any other mechanical engineers, would certainly love a workflow like that.
Yeah, so let's check this out. So I'm able to open the model from the cloud, so I can open it anywhere. So myself here and colleagues of ours in Boston or Chicago will be able to access this model at the same time. And during our design process, we actually had this elevator core. You don't need the entire elevator core. We're just going to focus on the desk in the middle. So what I'm able to do is actually copy this over, utilize the same information, rename it, and we've got what they call a section box inside of Revit. And it's got a bidirectional arrow on all the sides of the box that I can drag and pull to create the view that you need.
Yeah, I think what's really cool about this is let's presume for anybody out there watching that all I want to do as a mechanical engineer is design a sign, some nice signage that goes on this front desk. And I don't need the whole model. And what's really nice about these views that Steve's showing is that it simplifies the model for him, but also, as we'll see in a few minutes, it propagates out those reduced views to me. as we talked about earlier, that's a lot of data to bring a whole building into Inventor, a parametric CAD program for mechanical engineers. It would overwhelm the entire software. But by reducing what I can get, it really simplifies things.
And then you have access into actually seeing that view inside of BIM 360, which just gives you a lot more ability to see the context that you're going to design in. Architects like to change things on the fly. We're always going through a very fluid design cycle. It's easy to delete walls, doors, and windows when they're digital. But when we get into the fabrication and the mechanical design space, you start to get into a lot more difficult workflows.
Yeah, and another thing we talked about earlier is I'm not an architect. I don't know how to use Revit, but BIM 360 was super easy to use. You sent me a link. I opened the link. I was able to rotate the model around, see the view you wanted me to work on, and then immediately open it. That's what we're talking about by dummy proof is as I basically visited a website. I didn't have to install Inventor. I didn't have to do anything other than kind of click through, just like I'm, shopping on Amazon. I'm trying to find the right view I'm looking for. And once I found the right one, I got the notification from BIM 360 that you had gotten it ready for me. I was able to navigate and open it. So now if we kind of take a look from my perspective as a mechanical engineer, I was able to, from directly in Inventor, I didn't have to do anything else, navigate right to the Revit file that you had uploaded. I didn't have to do anything different. I was able to download it. And here's what's really important here. There's two options, a reference and convert model. If you remember the old way of bringing in a Revit model, that way is completely gone. Now with the new way, we're able to reference the core Revit data. More specifically, I'm able to reference that view that Steve just uploaded. This is what you saw him have in Revit. Now this is what I have in Inventor. I'm able to now reference all the faces and all the geometry. And I'm not just talking about a one-time reference like we used to do. I'm talking about a parametric reference, and we'll see later, if he makes a change to his model, well, because I'm referencing these faces and I'm projecting geometry, vertices, edges, anything like that, I'll get the benefit of those parametrically updated in my model. Now,
So I want to interject real quick. I mean, what did it look like before? I mean, for someone on my side of the fence, I mean, I would just provide you models. But if I updated something and sent you a brand new, whether it was Navisworks or a 3D DWG or whatever it might be, was it easy to go through my design iterations?
dude, it was a huge pain in the butt. Now, you talked about this being a new method of sharing data. I wouldn't call it a new method. I'd call it a life-changing method for anybody who designs building fabricated products. And here's why. Is before, if you sent me a model, I need to get it in like a SAP format, which is not the most high fidelity model to bring in. And it was a one-time import that the link was severed to the Revit model. So I bring in the SAP file, I start modeling around on it, making any kind of changes. And as we all know in design, things change. Then later, after I've finished my design for say the sign, you change your model, nothing happens on my end. I may not even know unless you told me, or I manufacture the wrong shaped sign. If I wanted that change, I would have to have you resend a brand new SAP file so I could re-upload it to Inventor, and you get the idea, redo everything.
Yep.
What's awesome about this now is I am linked directly to your Revit model, directly through the cloud to BIM 360 to, well, basically you uploading it. The second you change something and upload it, Inventor will immediately recognize that change, update the core Revit model, which will then update all my reference to geometry, and everything's fixed. That's all there is to it. And that's the coolest thing about this is from the mechanical engineer's perspective, my life is completely changed. I don't have to go through iteration after iteration. It just all updates like magic. This was, this is how, it was like it was designed in Inventor all along. And that's a really big benefit.
I mean, and that's really important. If you look at this curved piece of steel or whatever material it is, that's hard to find out what the true length is. And Inventor will provide that. And it allows us to use the right tool for the right situation. You're not going to take a sledgehammer to do finish work in your basement. You're going to use a finish hammer, right? So just being able to use the right tools actually makes us more productive.
Exactly. And we're able to use the right tools for the right job from anywhere. Like you said earlier, we're in
Yeah.
two different parts of the country using two completely separate programs in one workflow. And I think that's really the coolest thing about this.
That is, I think that's the most brilliant part of this entire workflow and this entire capability is actually connecting our AEC collection platform to the product and manufacturing collection platform, which is absolutely life-changing, like you said. What we'll do in our next session is we'll go through what it actually looks like through iterations. Any questions or comments, please place them below, and thanks for watching.
Thanks, everyone.